Hey everyone, this is Nolan from Natty Nolan Yu-Gi-Oh! So yeah, there's a new ban list. I already know I think most of what's on here. I was discussing it with like our teammates and everything in our group chat. But what I don't see is actually a lot of forward-thinking discussion about what this means. I think there's some insights, good insights, not much more than surface level. So I wanted to go through the ban list with you all and just talk about my opinion. So we're gonna just get into it. So this starts yesterday because I'm filming this on the 8th. Um, I think okay. I thought there was was there not more forbidden monsters? I'm actually surprised that certain cards on here didn't come back, like Glow Up Bulb. I don't care about Jowgen. Hear me out? Eclipse Wyvern? All right. Oh, okay, right. Okay, yeah, this one's pretty big. So, Nightmare Griffin, I was always on the fence about. I don't think it was the most oppressive card in the format. I don't think it was necessary either. That makes 3 nightmares out of what, 5 of them? Which, percentage-wise, doesn't that make the nightmare archetype the most banned archetype, right? Because 3 out of 5. Because otherwise, I think there's just Phoenix and Cerberus. So that's 3/5 of them, 66%. Nightmare Griffin did have to go. I mean, for being honest, set any spell, floodgate your opponent. And with Malice already as oppressive as it is, and Mitsurugi being able to wombo combo you to death, especially post support, Nightmare Griffin just had no real place anymore. And Link Decoder was always going to be a toxic Cyberse Link 1. Link 1s is the themology here, right? It's Link 1s are just awful pieces of cardboard. I don't understand why Link 1s and their insane effects exist. Now, in terms of Malice, I would assume that because Nightmare Griffin is banned, I'm wondering if they'll bother with the Abawa Q combo anymore. Because I think that was the whole point, right? Was to do Abawa Q Griffin. I mean, if they're playing Fiendsmith, they can still get a Battle Q, so I guess they'll be playing it anyway because of Fiendsmith's existence in the game itself. But Link Decoder is really nice. Just, that makes it so if they normal summon Dormouse, they activate its effect. You chain Imperm, Veiler, whatever. Makes it so if they don't already have a trap set, that they won't have access to Link Climb just off of a normal summon, because I believe the combo was normally you summon, if you get negated on Dormouse, then you go into your Link Decoder, you use a Bestial in hand, you banish, and then that's 3 bodies on field. Right? They don't have access to that anymore. I think the only Link 1 they now have access to is Linguribo. So I'm guessing what'll happen is if you get negated on Dormouse, you'll go Link 1 into Linguribo, Bestial out, for activity still gives you 3 bodies though. Just doesn't give you the same amount of follow-up as it would with Link Decoder. Because Link Decoder is 2 bodies. I guess they would have to go Linguribo plus the like Dormouse or White Rabbit or whatever into Splash Mage. Splash Mage summon back. That's not bad. I mean, they'll still combo you to death, but at least they're not going to be able to extend +1 off of the Link Decoder. I guess, now I'm thinking about it, it did need to go. I just don't think, or rather, I shouldn't say I think, because that's more objective. I don't know if banning Link Decoder was enough. I feel as though if we're trying to make it obvious that Link 1s are toxic, then they should have simply gone ahead and banned Linguribo as well. Yeah, I mean, if anything, yeah, they might have, they could and or should have just banned both. It's not like Linguribo isn't as toxic as a Link 1. It's a free Link 1 body. It's not as easy to make as Linguribo, and it's not as many pluses as Link Decoder, but it still gets you anywhere that you really want in the Malice combo, given that you have a Bestial in hand. And if it's Magnemite, I don't think Magnemite should be banned, but I'm just saying if it is Magnemite, then you're kind of getting that body anyway. Is if you're landing on something like IP, lesser of two evils situation. I don't think Lingaribo has much longer anyway, especially with I think it was a. I mean, I'm sure we're gonna see it, but I think it was Circular that was unbanned and went to 1. With that coming back, there's no way Lingaribo's gonna stay around. Right, Bahamut and Dweller. Into a debate with people at locals about this. Everyone thought they were going to ban Toad. I told them no. I told them there's no point in banning Toad when Totally Awesome was never the issue. It was other cards that forwarded access to Totally Awesome without putting up the effort required to summon it. That's the problem. Like Bahamut. Bahamut Shark was always the card to hit in this case. I never thought that it should have been legal like 2-3 formats ago. Bahamut Shark should have went with the rest of Tearlaments, in my opinion. This card was always busted. I know that people are going to whine and go, oh, Shark players. I don't care about Shark players. I don't. Table 500, for all I'm concerned. I don't care about Shark decks. I don't care about the Shark archetype. Other archetypes have been hit worse for the sins of others, such as the card right below it, Beatrice. Without Beatrice and Burning Abyss, that deck was even below table 500 itself, and yet Beatrice still got banned, right? Concern over the access to Toad than it ever was that Bahamut Shark was always the problem card. Which I'm glad. I'm glad Bahamut Shark's banned because, at the very least, if, we still have to deal with the hand rip from Mermail. It's not like Mermail's a dead deck. They'll have a harder time playing, but they're still a good deck. They'll still be in the meta. But now, at least, once they hand rip you for 2-3 cards, you won't have to also be playing through double Toad. I'm glad it's banned. Abyss Dweller, rest in piss. That card, again, should have went with Tearlaments eons ago. I hate Abyss Dweller, always did. And you know what? I'm glad, because that means that decks that I like and that a lot of people like, such as Phantom Knights, ABC, Yubel, a lot of graveyard-based decks can now play again. And I think that also has to do with D-Shifter going to 1, which is even better, right? So now we're going to have this equalizing format of there's going to be a really good Banish-based deck, right? Malice. If Ryziel is still around, then Ryziel will be that really good, like somewhere in between. Like they don't really care about being banished. They don't really care about being in the graveyard as much. It's just kind of like it is what it is, surface level. And then we're going to have a lot of graveyard decks. So I think it'll actually be really healthy to have Dweller gone and not have to deal with Bahamut Shark bullshit. I think that's perfect. I think it was what we were all, well, maybe not Bahamut, but Dweller I think is what everyone was expecting. No new spells. I was kind of hoping here that, again, subjective opinion, I was kind of hoping that cards like Call by the Grave, like Cross Out, like Thrust, like Talents, I was kind of hoping they would make their way onto this list. I don't like cards such as those. I think it's the same difference as some of the cards on here that make it impossible to play. There were definitely some good cards that should have been on here. I think Harpy's Featherstorm should be on here for one. Sorry, Harpy players. I don't care. Harpy's Featherstorm should have been on here eons ago. I hate that card, and as time goes on, that card is becoming more and more accessible. And, like I said in my video where I was playing Crystron and going up against Nick, there's even a way to just turbo it out now in a Odeon, where they set it, with Quantum Cat. There's always cards that floodgate you out of the duel, like Harpy's Featherstorm and Continuous Trap Floodgates. They should be all in here, right? Summon Limit, great start. Imperial Order, wonderful. Skill Drain, Gozen, Rivalry, Tisibu. All the ones that are a 1 should just be on here. I don't think Floodgates have a place in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! I think, if Konami wants to keep going in the guise of fast-paced, just put them all on here. They are still printing decks that are control-based, but even those control-based decks are more combo-based decks, right? Like Labyrinth. Labyrinth is supposed to be inherently a control-based deck, but you just combo, right? That's again, the theme here is even when the deck is designed to be one way, it will typically play another. So I looked at immediate Astrograph and I was like, finally, this card shouldn't be limited anyway. Pros should be banned. Astrograph is whatever. Druisworm, whatever. I was kind of just hoping something else would be there. Like, why not just make Lubellion at 1 or at 2 instead of Druisworm? Was Druisworm really the problem? In all the cards that have been presented at tournament level play, like regionals and YCS, was Druisworm really the problematic effect monster card? I don't think so. D-Shifter limited, just ban it. People who cope on this card will still play it at 1 because it's the same theory as Call By, wherein if I draw it, the game's over. They should have just banned it. This card, since its release in 2019 Megatins, has always been a problem, always will be a problem. It should have never been printed. I hate this card. Yes, I have played it. I played it in Flu for a very long time, and even then I understood. Who cares? This card could be at 30 copies per deck, and it's not going to do anything. True Draco is way past its prime. Not only do they need new support, which, here's my opinion, something comes off the ban list, they either get direct or vicarious support. So in the case of the one right below it, like MathMech Circular here, they're getting vicarious support and all the Ignister stuff. Maybe they actually released it because they understood that since it's a fan favorite deck, that they are going to give it support, which will be really good. They should have new continuous spell traps. They should have maybe a different field spell that locks them into True Draco that kind of works like Diagram. They should have stuff. They should get stuff. Absolutely. I doubt that though. I don't think that's going to happen, but whatever. Circular, again, that's just Konami pushing Malice with the Ignister stuff. But I will say this, with Circular at 1, and I know that after this, I do remember Sword, Ice, and X-Roll at 2, no doubt in my mind that what we're going to be looking at for the future of Ryzeal is going to be a blend of MathMech and Ryzeal. I think a lot of people are going to try to play more closer to the ground with a bunch of hand traps and play 3 Aratama, 3 Sakitama, and try to go with that. Or maybe it'll probably be closer to 2 Aratama, 3 Sakitama. They only lost 3 cards, right? And Bonfire, so that's 5. Yeah, so they might, if they lost 5 cards total, if they're not already playing 7th Ascension, or if they just have the room, they'll probably play 3 Sakitama, 2 Aratama. But either way, I think the MathMech Ryzeal is probably going to start popping off soon. So pick up copies. Because I guarantee those cards are going to go. But again, nothing surprising. My opinion, I don't think Circular was ever that big of a concern. I think it was more the MathMech Trap Superfractorial, and I think that the MathMech Extra Deck was always more problematic than the MathMech Monsters. Obviously, Circular at 3 was insane. I always agreed with it being at 1, especially because it's searchable. So I don't know. That's again really subjective. Maybe it's like a rainbow lens for me, but I never even really played MathMech, so probably not. I played like once, and I was It was more Natty that played it, and I always really liked it when he played it. It was really fun to watch. And, when I was watching his matches, even at the last regional that he played it before he left his deck, I think we were out in Connecticut, and he played it. And when I was watching his matches, it never seemed super oppressive. It didn't seem excessively fair, but then again, what modern Yu-Gi-Oh deck is that's topping is excessively fair, right? My boy... Free him, please. Havnus Murray, Sheeran, Tenpai Chandra. This should have just came off at this point. Who cares? Probably fine. Striker Dragon, Dryas. These could have came off the list, if I'm being honest. I don't think Plant is going to be doing anything anytime soon. Gimmick Puppet, Rest in Piss. Detonator, yep. So, here's my opinion. Even if you're playing the MathMech, let's say you have the best, most consistent version of Ryzeal. If Detonator's at 1 and you get Metal Tronus placed on you, or Unicorn, rip this out of your deck, what are you doing? What can Ryzeal do now that their best and greatest boss monster is now banished? There's no way to cycle it back inherently, unless you want to play like Burial from a different dimension or something. Everyone's just going to be running Kashtira anyway, so why play Ryzeal? Because if you run into one Kashtira matchup and they summon out Unicorn on you and you don't have an answer to it on their turn and your turn, your Detonator's gone. Now you've lost the match. Or at least that duel. I think Ryzeal, once people are on the withdrawal, on the come down of it, they've had their 72-hour impatience day with Ryzeal, people are going to quickly realize that Detonator at 1 kills the deck. And that's my opinion. I don't think Ryzeal is going to do much anymore. I think at that point, if it's at 1, it's like for me, it's like a tier 2 deck. This was expected. I don't know, because I was in agreement with Bonfire being limited if X was going to 1, but they hit everything. They put X to 2, Sword to 2, Ice to 2, Bonfire to 1, Detonator to 1. At that point, do you really need to hit Bonfire? I think if it was just as simple as X going to 1, then Bonfire could have gone to 1. But if you're going to semi-limit the best main deck cards and limit their only good boss monster that if it gets banished or leaves the extra deck, then it instantly loses the match, then just leave Bonfire at 3. Just leave it. Just give them the consistency because they're dead anyway if Ryzeal Detonator's gone. Brilliant Fusion limited. I knew about this. I knew this was coming from a mile away. I mean, we all knew the new Gem Knight support, right? I don't think there was a question about it. So if you didn't pick up Secret Rare print Brilliant Fusions or your ultis, well, sorry. I mean, it was I thought that was pretty obvious. I was telling everyone for months that this was coming. No surprise there. Brilliant Fusion's a good card. I don't think Gem Knight FTK is real anymore. I don't think it has been for a long time. Whatever. Cross out Designator to 1. Just ban it. This card's so toxic. It's going to be the same issue now of how do you play around the 1 of Call By? How do you play around the 1 of Detonator? Or not Detonator, Designator. How do you play around the 1 of, I think, Talents, right? Yeah, Talents. Just ban them. Why put them at 1? Because now you're going to have the same thing that you have in Go format, where you have the 3 Holy Trinity cards of Crossout, Call By, Talents. Like in that format, you have Delinquent Duo, Graceful Charity, and what was it, Pot of Greed or Forceful Sentry or something. Just ban them, because now everyone's gonna have to play this mental gymnastics with their opponent of, you know, I have the card, I'm gonna force them to play into it. Oh, cross out. Just won the game. Just ban them. I never liked Talents. I always thought this card was way too powerful. Thrust too. Thrust is way too good. Sacred Tree could have came back to 3. I'm just gonna put that out there. Yeah, I don't know. Designator to 1, I don't think that does much. Because now it's like, if you're going to play into it, you play into it so incredibly hard. Same thing with Talents. Yeah, Dormouse, White Rabbit, Morphin Jar, Ash. Snake Eyes is still dead. They can't hurt you anymore. Snake Eyes has been dead. I'm happy about this. I am. I genuinely like Dragons and Dragon Link and Bestial Control. More Bestial Control, but I think this is what's needed for stuff like Thunder Dragon or Bestial. Bestial decks, dragon decks. So I think that's a good addition. Already knew about this. Malice and wow, White Rabbit Dormouse. Yeah, it doesn't do anything. I'm be real. This doesn't do anything. This doesn't do a single thing because in like what, a month they're getting all of the Ignister stuff. So it's just you get to play with a slightly less consistent cop or version of Malice for 4 or 5 weeks, and then they get a whole wave of Ignister support that immediately makes them a tier 1 or tier 0.5 threat again. Wonderful. I don't know. At that point, just put this to 1, leave this at 3. It's problem solved, I guess. I don't know. I don't think there was a real solution here. I don't think putting him to 2 was really the solution, but this doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. I mean, if you're going to be playing these, you're playing them in what? Like Fire King and Rescue Ace? Charvara is a really good addition. Should have just went to 3 to make Unchained fully playable, but it is also good for Yubel and like Fiend Pile decks. White Dragon Wyvern Burster, that's fine. Same thing as Collapse Serpent. Should have been happening a while ago. Mouse and Underground. Field Spell should be at 1. So Field Spell itself is full combo. Limit it, because it's an extra copy of any of your monsters. So it's still like you have 3 Dormouse, 3 White Rabbit, 4 Chessy Cat. Ban it at that, or not ban it, just limit it. Limit it at that point. It's full combo either way. These should have came back to 3. I don't know why they don't. I don't think Pearly is going to be a real threat. I mean, the Xyz Encore, Designator. There's so many outs to this deck. Just put it back. Same thing with Runic Fountain. I don't think this should be semi'd anymore. And I hate, let me make this vividly clear. I hate Runic. I was the first person at our locals to play this deck, and I played it one day, and I immediately knew it was a problem. Immediately knew it was a problem. And then I got rid of it. I sold it to Natty. Then I picked it up again, and I still hated it. Now I still do have the deck, never play it. The deck's so good in niche scenarios. Like, you have to play either pure control, which never tops. You have to play it in Plunder or Sprite, and all those decks are missing key pieces, right? Or, you know, they've just fallen out of meta because power creep is so fast. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? who cares? And who cares? Even a 3 is cool. We might see Drytron start playing their Herald of Ultimateness wombo combo, every card in my hands in a Omni Negate. Droplet, Dark Ruler. Drytron for sure is the second best ritual deck to ever exist, and I only say that because with the new support that Mitsurugi is getting, they immediately become the best ritual deck that's ever been printed, by far. I just don't think Drytron's really going to do anything with this at this point. I don't think it does anything. I think if they were doing the Herald of Ultimate in this combo, you know, just with Fiendsmith alone, like if you're just going in the Fiendsmith and they open up, which is typical for Fiendsmith hands, they open up some like Engraver Tract, then you have to negate Engraver, negate Tract. That now you're already down 2 cards. I don't think it's that good. Monkey Board doesn't do anything either. I don't think Monkey Board, I don't know. None of this really matters. The dangers, like Dark World, maybe Dark World, but it's not like there's an FTK anymore with the Danger Dark World stuff, or even with Morphtronics. I mean, the best FTK we have right now is 6 Sam, and that's barely functional. Yeah, I would say that all this is fine. Abyss Dweller gone, Shifter limited. Lancey is still kind of a problem, but I mean, as long as Droll and Lockbird is still in the format, decks like Dark World are never going to top, and that's it. I'm sure that there are Yugi tubers who are absolutely blowing their load right now at this list. I think it's pretty mid. I think this was a lot of money moves. I don't really like this. I think it's pretty mid overall. I think they hit Ryziel just to make it fall out of favor, and if you were going to do that, then, you know, Dryden should be back. Rapier should be back. Barrage should be fully back. All the Zodiac stuff should be back, because at the core, Zodiac is a worse Ryziel. Even now, even with our cards semied and Bonfire one, still a worse Ryziel. Yeah, I don't think it's bad. I just think, as usual, they've missed the mark on the extent of the card pile that needs to be taken care of here. What do I know? I've only been playing the game for 20 years. That's it. I just wanted to go more in depth. Because I always see these like 8-minute videos on the ban list. I'm going to definitely try to build some stuff. Ubel, Phantom Knight, Ice Barrier, stuff like graveyard focus decks. I want to see how they do now. And, you know, even then, some of those are more prone to hand traps like Droll and Lancia, but we have to just see if people are going to continue to play Droll or if they're just going to let it go. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. See ya.